done on your farm. Baum Chevrolet Buick, right from the start.
WHOW planting reports are brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick, AAK Mechanical, Peterson Insurance, Longview Bank, and State Bank of Beemont.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. This week, the city of Clinton joins communities across the nation in observing National Police Week, a time dedicated to honoring the service and sacrifice of law enforcement officers. On the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday, Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers told the Heart Media Group the week provides an opportunity to humanize the badge through community engagement and social media features that introduce individual officers and their motivations for serving in law enforcement.
This week is Police Week. National Police Week was introduced by President Kennedy created on October 1st of 1961 and then signed into bill in 1962. And what that did was that designated May 15th of each year Peace Officer Memorial Day, and the week in which it falls, National Police Week. And so obviously with the 15th, I believe is Friday, is Peace Officer Memorial Day. And so this week is National Police Week. And we just take a moment to kind of highlight or spotlight the officers that make up the Clinton Police Department. And it's kind of unique. I've seen it with other agencies and kind of humanizing the badge and not only introducing them and their contributions to the Clinton Police Department, but also a little bit about themselves. Some of them have filled out a little questionnaire as to, what prompted them to get into law enforcement and their interest in law enforcement, and just a little bit about themselves. Like I said, humanizing the badge. So we started that last year and it went over real well. So we'll go ahead and repeat that again this year. Sure.
In 2025, there were 115 line of duty deaths across the United States, including 2 officers in Illinois. Chief Lowers notes 2026 has already seen 38 line of duty deaths nationwide, highlighting the ongoing Below 100 initiative aimed at reducing annual officer fatalities to double digits through enhanced safety and training.
2025 statistics from the Officer Down Memorial page. Last year, there was 115 line of duty deaths nationwide, 46 by gunfire and 34 by automobile accidents are the two biggest causes of officer deaths. In Illinois, we lost 2 officers in the line of duty, and that was Detective Tim Jones from the Park Forest Police Department and Officer Crystal Rivera of the Chicago Police Department, both killed by gunfire in the line of duty. Already in 2026, we've had 38 line of duty deaths nationwide. And, beginning back, 20 years ago, we began the Below 100 initiative, trying to get those line of duty deaths below 100. There's a police officer killed in the United States every 58 hours, and that's entirely too many. The average of 272 over the last 10 years. And the first line of duty death was noted in 1791, and there's now been over 26,000 line of duty deaths in our history.
Residents are encouraged to visit the Emergency Services Memorial at Downey Park in Clinton. Dedication in 2010 through the efforts of the late Police Chief Mike Reedy and the late Fire Chief Jeff Pearl. The memorial features bricks honoring those who have served the Clinton community in all facets of emergency services.
that was introduced or created. That was founded by the late Chief Reedy. Chief Mike Reedy with the police department, and the late Fire Chief Jeff Pearl. Back, don't quote me, I think 2010-ish that was dedicated, but we do have a local memorial there at Downey Park. Take a trip to Downey Park to see our memorial. But also the bricks that are there that honor all of those in all facets of emergency services that have served in our local community.
As National Police Week continues, Chief Lowers expressed his appreciation for the continued support from the Clinton community. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, Head Start registration open now for next school year. This weekend's May Days Festival in Clinton is being described as one of its most robust food, entertainment, and vendor offerings they've had in a few years. Clinton Chamber Executive Director Janice Peterson shared that in addition to the diverse lineup of vendors on the downtown square, several community traditions are set to return to anchor the weekend festivities.
Well, Thursday night will be the flag raising, and that's at 5:30. That's just kind of a flag raising and a real quick opening ceremony. Nothing fancy or special, just kind of fun. Then Friday night is the Clinton High School Thespian Sing-Off, and that is so much fun. There's so much talent in this town, from little kids to adults, and everybody can participate. It's just, that one's just a fun thing. It starts at 6 o'clock. And then Saturday night, we have South 51. It's a local band. Douglas Willis is the head of it. He also played at our annual dinner this year, just him a solo. And everybody at the dinner just loved listening to him. So we just brought his whole band in for May Days.
Okay, nice.
So it'll be great.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Petting Zoo is going to be there Saturday afternoon from 12 to 4. And they're going to be on the southwest corner of the square, kind of where the farmers market is where they will be.
Okay.
And that's, you need to come see them.
Okay.
They're fun.
Yeah.
Cute little animals, and yeah, it's good.
The annual May Days Festival is one of the two biggest fundraisers of the year for the Chamber, which encompasses the entirety of the Clinton Square.
The Chamber really hosts two major events a year that are fundraisers, May Days and the Haunted House. So we put a lot of work into May Days, getting a lot of trying to get our vendors in. This year, we've got more vendors than we've ever had. So we had to turn people away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's sad because we don't have enough electricity or water. And we are really going to concentrate hard on blocking off the square. I can't enforce that enough, because last year, I will be honest, we had a woman get hit because somebody was on the square and they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
And that just can't happen.
Yep.
So we're going to really make sure that it's closed, and we just want everybody to come out and have a good time. We know how much fun it is. So.
Yeah.
Additionally, Peterson is imploring visitors to the festival to be mindful of trash and the many receptacles they are placing around the square. She hopes those in attendance will take note of those and keep the square and the surrounding area clean.
I am going to mention one thing, and it's just kind of a plea to the public. Please be respectful of the garbage cans. If there's a garbage can, put your garbage in it. Aaron and I from the Chamber, we are the garbage people, and we have to empty the garbage. And I just want to put a plea out there to please be respectful, because trust me, it's not a fun job.
Right.
And it's one that we have endured. Well, Marion's family endured it also. So that's always been an issue. So I just want to throw it out there to please be respectful and use garbage containers. There's plenty of them up there. We have bright yellow trash bins this year. You cannot miss them, because trust me, they're bright yellow. And there's also dumpsters. So they will be all around the square and in the carnival area. So and there'll be trash boxes as well. Those are usually the worst, but yeah, just please be respectful of the garbage.
Again, the Clinton May Days Festival is this Thursday through Sunday in downtown Clinton. Get more information by finding the Clinton Chamber of Commerce on Facebook. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Spring into savings this May with a new Chevrolet. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. Savings with a new car? Yes, with our fuel savings model like the Chevy Trax with 40 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Trailblazer, and Chevrolet Equinox with 33 miles per gallon highway. And don't forget about our EV options, the Chevrolet Bolt and Equinox. Chevrolet, together let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
It's the quiet moments you count on. A call that connects instantly, a show that never buffers, a home that just works. That's the difference with Connexus Fiber Internet. We built a buried fiber network designed for consistency, earning us the title of top-rated fiber internet provider in Illinois. With plans starting as low as $25 a month and 3-year price lock options, it's reliability you can feel without the unpredictability. Because with Connexus, connection means everything. Experience better at Connexus.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 20 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. While many families this time of year are looking forward to the summer break, a local nonprofit is reminding parents with preschool-age kids that it's time to start thinking about the fall. Brianne Titus, Chief Visionary Officer with Community Action, explains that registration is now open for the Head Start program and spots are limited. She says if you have children 5 years old or under, Head Start is a great option for eligible families.
It doesn't really fit, the typical May timeframe and mindset that most of us have.
No.
However, so many of us are in this school's almost out for the summer mentality. But the crazy thing that people need to remember is that also means that finding placement for next school year is also on the horizon. For example, we were talking about Head Start earlier, and our Head Start programs are already taking applications for next school year. They're already talking to parents and starting placement for next school year. So if you are needing to get your child in to school, we work with birth to 5 in our Head Start locations. And so now is the time to do that to make sure that you can have a really great chance at getting your kid into the classroom.
The Head Start program is free to eligible families. Titus indicates that it focuses on creating well-rounded kids through academic, social, and emotional development.
We're an early childhood education program. It is free for eligible families. And if you are a SNAP benefit family, you're automatically qualified to apply for Head Start. But we have some amazing teachers. So shout out for Teacher Appreciation Week. So we have some amazing teachers. They work so well with these kids. I love seeing the activities that they're doing in the classroom and just getting creative. We had one classroom that they were doing a unit on insects. And so you can kind of imagine what you think that curriculum may look like with kids at preschool age level. But they were using like little plastic insects and they were actually dipping them in paint and they were actually painting with these insects. So as they were learning about the insect, they were also learning about art and creativity. And they were also learning about what that insect kind of like stamp what it left. And so I just thought that was very cool and creative. But they also work heavily in routine. And I know Chrissy, our Head Start director, has been on the air several times and probably talks more in depth about that. But it is a great environment and just a great place for them to socialize and to develop emotionally, academically, all of it. So don't hesitate. I know everybody's excited for summer, but make sure you get your spot secured for Head Start first for next school year before you get excited about summer and really get to enjoy that.
In many ways, Head Start mirrors the experience of a typical elementary classroom, which prepares students to be more independent when the time comes for kindergarten. It also introduces concepts like reading and speaking skills at an early age.
Yeah, it is mostly standard classroom. We do have a few in some of our outlining counties that do like a morning session and an afternoon session. However, majority of our classrooms are full day classrooms, and most of our classrooms have transportation. So they also get to ride on a school bus, and so they kind of get to experience what that looks like. So when they go to kindergarten, they're prepared for that, and they go into the classroom and they start their day with a routine, just like any other classroom. They have a snack and they have lunch together. And so really the routine is set up to prepare them for when they go to kindergarten. They know what to do in a classroom environment. They know how to act in a classroom environment. They know what to expect and what their behavior is expected of. And so there is lots of layers and levels to that that they're looking at. But they're also doing academic things. They're doing fun stuff too, but they're also learning colors and numbers and letters. And I had one classroom that I went into and they were speaking full words. I mean, one was like almost completely reading by herself, and she wasn't even in kindergarten yet. And so this is the type of environment that they're in on a day-to-day basis. And so it's not just a babysitting, it's not just a daycare facility, and nothing against either one of those. I know some very structured daycares, but this is truly more of a preschool, early childhood education environment where they are learning routine, they're learning things developmentally, and really prepping them for kindergarten.
May is National Community Action Month, which is a great opportunity for parents to visit one of the organization's open houses and learn more. You can also find out more by visiting capsule.info or by finding Community Action on Facebook. Gas prices in Illinois have officially hit record levels as tensions continue to grow between the U.S. and Iran over the Strait of Hormuz. With the U.S. blockade of the strait in place, prices at the pump across the state officially hit $6 a gallon for diesel, eclipsing the previous records set earlier in May. Looking to fill up, Gas Buddy's head of petroleum analysis, Patrick DeHaan, says prices at the pump are only going to get more expensive.
The longer the strait remains closed, the more gasoline prices will continue to trend upward until it does reopen. So not a great trend, not a good road to be on, but that's where we are this morning. Now, in addition, we've seen some refinery outages in the Great Lakes that have pushed up diesel more significantly. Those may start improving here over the next week or two, but for now, we are seeing a new all-time record for the spot price of diesel. Couldn't come at a worse time for farmers getting out in their fields, as well as a new all-time record, as I mentioned, being set for Illinois. We've never seen average diesel prices higher than where they are today. Until this strait reopens, I mean, we're going to be held hostage by whether or not it does reopen, and prices will probably keep going up until it's reopened. We could see the national average price of gasoline reaching $5. It could set new all-time records, and diesel prices are only about 18 cents a gallon away from setting new all-time records as well. So, I'd hate to set new records, but we are on that trajectory, and it doesn't look like we're going to back down.
To help circumvent the high prices, the U.S. continues to release fuel from the strategic reserve. Earlier this week, President Trump floated the idea of temporarily eliminating the federal gas tax. However, this would require congressional approval. Illinois State Police are promoting spring planting traffic safety awareness.
Your car is going 55 miles an hour, or they should be anyways on some of those rural roads, and you got to think a tractor's going 20 miles an hour, sometimes a little bit slower. So the distance of a football field, you can close that at those speeds in about 5 seconds. So something else to think about is in Illinois, you cannot pass within 100 feet of an intersection, a bridge, or a railroad crossing. These are common places where farmers are most likely to turn into the field. Speaking about turning, there's something that we call the left turn trap. This is critical, just like people see in towns or cities where a semi is driving through, or a school bus. When they go to make a left turn, sometimes they swing a little bit right before making that sharp turn. tractors and farm equipments are doing the same thing. So tractors will swing right to make that sharp left turn into a narrow field gate or an entrance. So if you see farm equipment slowing down near those locations, don't assume they're pulling over because you see them turn right a little bit to let you pass. A lot of times the crashes happen because they start to swerve right or swing right. A motorist thinks that's their opportunity to pass. The farmer makes a sharp turn left, and then we have a collision.
Trooper Ryan Wiggand says if you're following too closely behind a tractor and can't see the side mirrors, then the farmer can't see you either, and you should give them some space. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. That's DeWitt County's #1 source for news, sports, police blotter, obituaries, and more. Best of all, it's all free all the time, right at your fingertips. Once again, at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news comes your way now.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Following the first meeting of their summit, it ran a couple of hours. President Trump and Chinese President Xi are now attending a state dinner in Beijing. Earlier, his Chinese hosts rolled out the red carpet for Mr. Trump, who has invited China's leader to the White House in September. The White House says the presidents had a good meeting talking about enhancing economic cooperation. And they also agreed the Strait of Hormuz must remain open, toll-free, and they agreed that Iran must not have a nuclear weapon. Britain's military reports the seizure of a ship that had been anchored off the coast of the UAE. There's no word on who commandeered the vessel, but it is sailing in the direction of Iran. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures pointing to a higher open. The Dow futures are up close to 400 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 80 points. More details, srnnews.com.
If you're listening right now, chances are you're either worried about a parent living alone or you are that parent and you know your family worries about you. Either way, there's a great company that finally got senior safety right, Connected Caregiver. Connected Caregiver is everything you already know about senior alert devices, fall detection, emergency button GPS, but reimagined for today. A small wearable device alerts your family the moment something happens. Discrete in-home sensors, no cameras, no microphones, cover you even when you're not wearing it. And a smart pill box tells your family if medications were taken, all right on their phones. For the kids, you go from hoping everything is fine to actually knowing it is, even when you're across the country. For mom and dad, Connected Caregiver keeps you in your home on your terms. That's not losing independence, that's keeping it. Call 888-870-8020. A Connected Caregiver specialist who genuinely cares will help find the best solution for you. They'll even help check if you qualify for a free device. Call 888-870-8020, 888-870-8020.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Sunshine expected today with daytime highs approaching 72. Winds out of the south around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, chance of rain showers, lows level off around 52. Daytime highs approaching 77. Tomorrow, thunderstorms likely. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now, 47.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. The high school baseball postseason pairings were released on Wednesday afternoon by the IHSA office. Clinton and Monticello will each host a regional in Class 2A. The Maroons drew a 4 seed and will take on 6th-seeded Shelbyville in a regional semifinal on Thursday, May 28th at 4:30 p.m. Maroa Forsyth is the top seed in the Monticello subsectional and was assigned to the Clinton regional. The Trojans take on the winner of a quarterfinal matchup between Olympia and Bloomington Cornerstone Christian Academy on Wednesday, May 27th. The Clinton Regional Championship is on Saturday, May 30th at 1 p.m. In the Monticello Regional, Tolono Unity is the 2 seed and takes on the winner of Champaign St. Thomas More and Georgetown Ridge Farm in the quarterfinal matchup. The Sages will battle Westville in a regional semifinal on Thursday, May 28th at 4:30 p.m. The regional championship is at 11 a.m. on Saturday, May 30th. In other Class 2A regional pairings at the Pana Regional, the 10th-seeded Buffalo Tri-City will play at the 7th-seeded Bloomington Central Catholic. The winner of that game will play the 2-seed Tri-Valley. On Thursday, May 28th, 3rd-seeded Warrensburg-Latham will take on the 5th-seed Pana at 4:30. At the Bismarck-Henning Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, the winner of 9th-seeded Sullivan versus 8th-seeded Marshall will play 1-seeded St. Joseph Ogden at 3 p.m. In Class 1A, Mount Pulaski earned the top seed in its subsectional and will also host a regional. The Hilltoppers will play the winner of a regional quarterfinal game between Ridgeview and Blue Ridge on Wednesday, May 27th at 4:30 p.m. The other regional semifinal matchup in the Mount Pulaski Regional is Heyworth against Springfield Lutheran on Thursday, May 28th at 4:30 p.m. The Mount Pulaski Regional Championship is Saturday, May 30th at 11 a.m., with the winner advancing to the Illinois Wesleyan Sectional the following week. In Class 1A regional pairings at the Tremont Regional, the winner of 9th-seeded Peoria Heights versus 8th-seeded Delavan will take on the 1-seed Tremont at 4:30 p.m. On Thursday, May 28th, 4th-seeded DMAC will play the 5th-seed Fieldcrest at 4:30 p.m. At the Leroy Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, the winner of 10th-seeded Decatur Unity Christian versus 7th-seeded Athens will take on the 2-seed Argenta Oriena at 4:30 p.m. And on Thursday, May 28th, 3-seed Decatur St. Teresa takes on the 6th-seed Leroy at 4:30 p.m. At the Gibson City Melvin Sibley Regional on Thursday, May 28th, the winner of the 11th-seeded Danville Schlarman at 6th-seeded Iroquois West will play the 4th-seeded GCMS at 4:30 p.m. In Class 3A regional pairings at the Metamora Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, 1-seed Metamora versus the 8th-seed Kankakee at 4:30 p.m., while the 4th-seeded Ottawa takes on 5th-seeded LaSalle Peru at 7 p.m. At the Galesburg Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, the 2-seed East Peoria plays 7th-seeded Galesburg at 4:30, and the 6th-seeded Limestone will play the 3rd-seed Washington at 7. At the Dunlap Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, top-seeded Dunlap will play the winner of the 9th-seeded Peoria at 8th-seeded Peoria Notre Dame at 4:30 p.m., and the 4th-seeded Morton will take on 5th-seed Geneseo at 6:30 p.m. At the Normal U High Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, top-seeded Normal U High plays 8th-seed Urbana at 4:30, while the 4th-seeded Rantoul takes on 5th-seeded Bloomington High School at 7 p.m. At the Lincoln Regional on May 27th, 2-seeded Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin plays 7th-seeded Springfield Southeast at 4 p.m., and then on Thursday, May 28th at the Lincoln Regional, 4th-seeded Lincoln takes on the 6th-seeded Springfield High School at 4 p.m. At the Champaign Central Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, 2-seeded Champaign Central will play the 7th-seed Danville at 4 p.m., while the 3rd-seeded Normal West takes on 6th-seed Champaign Centennial at 6:30 p.m. At the Chatham-Glenwood Regional on May 27th, top-seeded Chatham-Glenwood plays 8th-seed Springfield Lanifer at 4:30, and then the 3rd-seeded Mahomet Seymour will play the 5th-seed Mount Zion at 7 p.m. In Class 4A regional pairings at the Moline Regional on Wednesday, May 27th, the winner of the 9th-seeded Rock Island at 8th-seeded Plainfield South will take on the 1-seed Normal Community at 4:30 p.m. Avery Smith and Hadley Humble led an offensive onslaught as Clinton rolled Shelbyville 13-1 in a Central Illinois Conference win on Wednesday. in high school girls softball action from Shelbyville. The Lady Maroons exploded for 6 runs in each of the 6th and 7th innings. Smith was 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs, while Humble was 2 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs. Lady Nichols also doubled in the win. Riley Fentress was 1 for 2 with 3 walks and an RBI and 3 runs scored for Clinton. Sickles, Campbell Bass, Annalise Thompson, and Olivia Haynes each drove in runs. Haynes twirled 7 innings of 1-run ball for the Lady Maroons. The senior permitted 7 hits and a walk while striking out 3. Clinton is 7-18 overall and 4-5 in the CIC. They visit Central A&M on Thursday. In a game heard on WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com, Forrest Rodden fired 6 innings of 2-run ball as the Monticello offense scored early and often to get by Clinton 7-2 in non-conference high school baseball action on Wednesday in Monticello. Rodden allowed 2 unearned runs while allowing 4 hits, a walk, and striking out 6. The Sages scored 3 runs in the first inning, highlighted by run-scoring hits from Cole Basak and Hayden Romano. Jake Robinson hit into a run-scoring fielder's choice. Grant Kiger scored 2 with a base hit in the second inning to up the Sages' lead to 5-0. Zeke Young belted a run-scoring triple in the third, and Dawson Gatros followed with a run-scoring hit to cap the Sages' scoring and make it 7-0. The Maroons were led by Mitchell Cornwell, who was 2 for 3 with an RBI. Stone Stith was 2 for 4 with a double. Jackson Reynolds, Xavier Reynolds, and Josh Bass had hits for Clinton. Cole Fentress fired 3 innings of shutout relief with 4 strikeouts while permitting 3 hits and 2 walks. Clinton drops to 16-12 overall. They host Meridian on Friday. Monticello goes to 27-2 overall. They visit Champaign Central on Friday. Luke Martin struck out 11 across 6 innings of 3-run ball. Jaden Jackson had 3 hits as Mount Pulaski outlasted Havana 5-3 in non-conference high school baseball action on Wednesday in Havana. Martin struck out 11 to just 1 walk and 6 hits. The Hilltoppers cleaned up the defense, committing just 1 error. Jackson was 3 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs. After Aaron Voley doubled in the first run of the game for the Hilltoppers in the first, Jackson singled in Voley to make it 2-0. A 2-base, 2-run error for Martin made it 4-1 Hilltoppers in the second. The Ducks cut the deficit to 4-3 in the third, but Jackson's double in the 5th inning scored Martin to make it 5-3 Mount Pulaski. Chase Roberts was 2 for 3 with a double for the Hilltoppers. Voley finished 1 for 4 with an RBI and a double. Mount Pulaski goes to 17-8 overall. They host El Paso Gridley on Thursday. Dawson Waterhouse singled in Trenton Bridges, and Warrensburg-Latham walked off Williamsville 2-1 on Wednesday in non-conference high school baseball action in Warrensburg. Trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th, Nathan Southern scored Waterhouse on a ground out to even the score at 1-1. Bridges singled to start the 7th inning and was sacrificed to second. Camden Otten was intentionally walked before Waterhouse singled to left to bring home the game-winning run. Kason Reynolds pitched into the 6th inning and struck out 10. His only run allowed was unearned in the first inning. Reynolds also finished 2 for 3 at the plate. The Cardinals go to 16-6 overall. They host Shelbyville in Central Illinois Conference action on Friday. An 8-run third inning propelled Heyworth to a 13-2 win over Bloomington Cornerstone Christian Academy on Wednesday in non-conference high school baseball action in Bloomington. Ridge Braden was 1 for 3 with a double and 3 RBIs to lead the Hornets. Braden Leish, Caleb Zellers, and Braxton Denning each finished with 2 RBIs. Leish had 2 stolen bases. Heyworth goes to 11-12. They host Olympia on Thursday. Mason Aislinger allowed an unearned run in a complete game win, leading Normal West past Peoria Notre Dame 7-1 In Big 12 Conference high school baseball action on Wednesday in Normal, Sam McCulley and Ty Backman went deep, backing Aislinger's complete game. Aislinger struck out 7, walked none, and permitted 7 hits. Backman hit a 2-run shot in the first inning to stake the Wildcats to a 2-0 lead. 2 batters later, McCulley went deep to make it 3-0. Kalen Ritter was 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI for Normal West, while Drake Rumps hit a double. The Wildcats are 19-11 overall and 11-5 in the Big 12. They host Peoria Richwoods on Friday. Sophomore Creston Schultz went the distance in a 5-0 shutout effort of Lincoln on Wednesday in non-conference high school baseball action from Lincoln. Schultz struck out 5, walked 1, and allowed 3 hits. Owen Comstock was 2 for 3 for the Railers. Bryce Vlakovic had the other hit for Lincoln. Lincoln goes to 18-9 overall. They travel to North Mac on Friday. Carissa Cook homered, leading a Heyworth power surge in an 11-4 win over Decatur St. Teresa on Wednesday afternoon in non-conference high school softball from Decatur. Cook was 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs for the Lady Hornets, who pounded out 6 extra base hits in the contest. Natalie Kopp doubled twice and drove in 3 runs, finishing 3 for 4. Lauren Streens, Haley Rogers, and Ilya Riddle added doubles for Heyworth. Kopp overcame 5 errors and 6 walks in circle to fight through 7 complete innings. She struck out 8 and permitted 4 hits. Heyworth goes to 17-11 overall. They visit Champaign St. Thomas More on Thursday. Monticello fell behind 6-0, but a late rally comeback bid fell short as Mattoon escaped with a 6-5 win on Wednesday in non-conference high school softball action in Monticello. Back-to-back run-scoring passed balls in the 4th inning allowed the Lady Sages to get within 6-2. Cassidy Stoffel reached on a run-scoring error